My wife is not the woman I used to know. She let the fame get to her. I know I won't probably get anything meaningful from Reddit, but at this stage of life, I don't have a single soul to talk to. I met my wife when I was 15 in high school. She was 17. That latter part of my teenage years was probably the hardest of my life, since in half a year I lost my mother. Never knew my dad, so she was the only thing I could consider family. At that time, me and my wife were only friends, but she was there for me and grieved with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that time. We started dating when I was 17, and we got married 7 years later. For context, my wife was very frugal and unmaterialistic. She never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, cars, etc., always spending money on thrift shops or during sales on whatever she liked. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z just for her to react with, "What car is this? A Corolla?" So yeah, I think you get the type. But that's what I liked about her the most. And also, she was the most caring person I ever knew. In our family, she's the successful one, always working in big corporations. Regarding myself, I always worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job, helping people as I could. Fast forward, 2 years ago, she received an offer from an important company for an executive position, offering 4 times her salary. And let me tell you, her salary wasn't bad by any means. But we should have moved to a different city. At first, I was doubtful, since that would have meant losing my job and not be sure if I could have contributed financially to our family for an indefinite time period. But she said that she could have sustained the family effortlessly with this new job. And for that time, I could have looked after the house and groceries till I could have found a new job. Since she was so enthusiastic, I accepted. I was happy to support my wife's career. Well, the best way I can put it is that my wife underwent a crazy transformation. Some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing, if you know what I mean. She started caring more and more about luxury brands, jewels, cars, etc. I don't think you can quite imagine my disbelief seeing her coming back home with a Versace bag after seeing her for years wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. She also started hanging out with her new female co-workers a lot. My wife isn't very extroverted or very social, so that was quite the shock, but I was very, very happy for her. I thought that she finally found her dimension after years of struggling. But that happiness started fading after she started coming way later and home every day. And later, and later. Until it was a miracle to be able to talk to her for 10 minutes a day. I thought it was very busy with work, since being an executive means lots of work, till she started posting lots of photos of her with her co-workers drinking, going shopping and stuff. The fun part is, she never finds time to reply to my text, but she always has a minute to post photos. And when she replies, she says that she's working. She also literally stopped saying things to me altogether. Have you ever experienced your husband going to work with an Audi A3 and then coming back home with a Porsche Macan GTS? Well, I did, and let me tell you, it's no fun. I confronted her on if it was a business-issued car, which it isn't, then on why she spent so much money on a car when she didn't care not even a little about cars. Her passive-aggressive response was that it's her money and that she entitled to do as she pleases. Or have you experienced not seeing your husband coming back home for a night and not replying to text just to receive a call the following afternoon saying that she forgot telling me that she left for a business trip? Well, I hope you haven't. But the worst is when she invited me for lunch with her co-workers. I was very happy because that was the first time we were doing something together in months, and I thought that what I've experienced before was only a phase and that it was all ended. My wife left first because she had work to do, so I dressed up nicely and left 2 hours after to the scheduled restaurant. For context, I sold years before my 370Z because I didn't need a sports car no more, so my daily driver is a very frugal Renault Clio. I like it, and since I don't need that much, I don't have reasons to upgrade to a pricier model or brand. Well, I get to the restaurant, park my car in front of it, get inside just to see my wife staring at me like horror-stricken. She gets up from the table and takes me outside of the restaurant, then proceed to literally insult me for parking my Clio in front of the restaurant and in front of her table, saying that I embarrassed her and that I should have parked it somewhere hidden. I was completely at a loss for words. I asked her why, and she said that it was a cheap, non-luxury car, not representative of her lifestyle. She then gets back inside the restaurant, warning me not to embarrass her like this again. I attended the rest of the lunch in shock. That day, I realized that that girl I had at my side wasn't my wife. It wasn't the girl I married anymore. My wife is now out of the house, celebrating a great year for the company, and I'm here at home writing this with the divorce papers in front of me. I don't think I can handle this situation anymore. I tried lots and lots of time to talk to her, to tell her how I feel, to tell her that she changed, that she's not the same woman I knew. But she just doesn't listen. She always says that she has no time and that she needs to work, or she tries to minimize the situation, saying that it's not true and that she never changed. She wanted kids. Now she doesn't want them anymore, saying that they would rob her time from her career. She wanted to travel. Now she doesn't want to do it for the same reason. Is she really the same woman I married? But still, I can't bring myself to talk about divorce with her. Most likely because I hope that somewhere hidden inside of her there's still the woman I loved and still love. Even if this doesn't seem like the case.
Just want to say I'm sorry, man. I can only imagine how painful it is to watch someone you love slowly change into someone completely different. She's made it perfectly clear you aren't a priority. You aren't even someone she respects. Money blinds some folks. You're making the right choice. You deserve to be with someone who loves and cares for you and who wants to build a life with you. This woman does none of those things anymore.
I'm not sure how old you are right now, but do you think it may be a sort of midlife crisis? Since you two married young, I'm assuming she didn't get to have a partying period of her life. Does she see a therapist? Sounds like my manic periods, but with more money.
The good news is at least you will get a ton of alimony with all that money she's making. I hope you take her to the cleaners.
Or they'll both end up broke, spending all their savings on lawyers to fight each other. Happens all the time.
You might need to give her a rude awakening. Try to talk to her again, and if she responds with the same thing before, give her the divorce papers. If she takes a step back and thinks about it, then try to talk it out. It will at least give a clear message on how she has changed and how you view her. If she signs them right away, then at least you know she doesn't plan on changing.
Money makes people go insane. I work in finance and most of my clients are lovely people. I got rid of the bad ones years ago. But try dealing with beneficiaries of estates. Those people are absolutely nuts. Never having had money, they start foaming at the mouth.
Yes, and the saddest part is she won't realize it until many years down the road when everything is long done. You should get a lawyer and put all your ducks in a row. She can bury you literally and figuratively. It's time to let go and protect your heart. She probably will act like she doesn't care for you, except her money and you getting none. And that's to be expected because she is in her own world, but it's time you find yours again. Lawyer up, time for a fresh start. Good luck in your next chapter.
Listen, man, when your wife doesn't come home at all and then doesn't contact you until the middle of the following day with some BS excuse about a business trip she forgot about, she's cheating on you. Period.
Yes, she's displaying all the signs of cheating. I'm not saying she is, but you need to be aware and look into it. Also, looks like new coworker friends helped with her transformation, especially the way she belittled you at the restaurant. They clearly have a big influence on her. Use this as a learning experience. Always be wary of who your spouse hangouts with.
This is the way. It's a weird thing that people never change, but also they do. Sometimes our priorities shift, as seems to be the case with Op's wife. It's sad and unfortunate, but it doesn't sound like they're on the same page anymore, and that kind of stuff doesn't usually get better. She's not going to suddenly start liking his Renault Clio. Sorry you're going through this, Op. It's hard to tell from your post if you've had a serious "I'm thinking of divorce" talk already, but you might want to lay that on the table as a courtesy before serving papers. Other people here have suggested therapy, but emo that won't help. I've also seen people suggest that you show her this post, which seriously sounds like a bad idea to me. It won't land well.
This was all very upsetting to read, but when she shat on the Clio, I took it personally. RIP to my favorite car ever, Renault Clio Bebop Edition, 1994 to 2021.